what bar owners, they realize that, and what they see it, and then often to get you sort of over that bump, they offer you a shot or alcohol, or guests offer you a shot, and this is also why some bartenders started drinking, because, or even worse, drugs is a problem as well, because that keeps you going, and that's a big threat to our profession. And I would, at my bar at the when it was very busy, it has been very busy, and everybody has been exceeding. I believe we would close. Well, there was no closing time, but if we would close at 2 and everybody was it was quieter at 1:30, I would offer the team a little shot or a drink, but mostly we didn't do that.
Yeah.
And nowadays you see bartenders just being sort of drunk or high on drugs because it's so difficult to keep on going.
Yeah.
And I always advise my clients to do not 5 nights, but 4 nights, maybe a little longer shift, or make 36-hour contracts instead of 40, because it's so demanding.
Yeah, and it does make a difference. I mean, if you, and it dampens basically the experience the customer in the end gets.
And that's what I try to explain to my clients as well. So they say, yeah, but then I need more staff, and then it costs me money, and 36 hours, and do I have to pay them for 40? I said, this will always benefit you because of what you say.
Yeah.
People come back from that bartender, and you almost need to do it like croupier in the casino, where they have to be changed on the table every 2 hours or something.
Right.
For a different reason. But technically, you would like to have a set of bartenders that you do 2-hour shift, and then you go in the back, chill a bit, and then you keep on rotating. So there's always somebody that's
fresh and
full of energy.
And energy, exactly, full of energy without having to drink 50 Red Bulls.
There you go. Yeah, because it's such an unhealthy profession, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, you're exposed to all these things while you see, you want your customers to enjoy it.
No.
And then I think it can be a very slippery slope, because you're so exposed to it, thinking, what's the harm, just a little bit now. No. And then before you know it, 1 week has passed, and it's a little bit every day.
And
then,
and guests offer you
right.
a shot. And how do you refuse that? Because that's rude.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, that's very kind of you. I'll take one after work. Or what we had, I had a bottle of just water.
Yeah.
I said that it's vodka, my own bottle, or I would have water, and I added some Angostura bitters in there to make it look like a very light rum or something.
Right.
So there's tricks, or if they're a little bit drunk, when you do a shot, the moment when you shoot it, put your head back, and that's where they don't see you. So you just then throw away a shot or anything. But there are owners that push you to do it because the guest pays for it, so it's revenue. And that's where that's the slippery slope you were talking about.
Yeah.
But so it's a big theme now as well in the bar scene, together with food, sleep. But also back problems and neck problems. So there's a lot of we are developing. It's a relatively young profession again. Like really, the cocktail started. Really, the bartending, the high-end bartending, started again in 2000, second golden age of the cocktail, what we call it.
Right.
But we're learning now, and now you sort of see that first, second generation of bartenders that started again with making cocktails. And I'm not talking about flair tending like the Tom Cruise cocktails or the Sex on the Beaches, but really and you see that my generation, we encounter physical problems. So we really focus on that. And it's an interesting
that's important.
topic.
I mean, honestly,
Absolutely.
I had no idea. I was just a good friend of mine. He has it's not that he owns a bar, but he's having... he's offering event services, and he has lots of drinks at his place. And when I visited him, he asked me, "Hey, what would you like to drink? I make you whatever you want." And so I don't remember what I said, but he made it, and I realized he just made 1 glass. And then I asked him, "Aren't you going to have one with me?" And he said, "No, I'm not drinking." And I asked him, "Why not?" excuse me, and he was basically explaining to me exactly the scenario that you're explaining. It's that slippery slope. And he was afraid that if he even allows himself a little bit, that he might get sucked into somewhere where he doesn't want to be, which then hampers his business, the service he offers, and so on and so on. That he said it's much easier for him to just say none at all.
None at all. I've seen a lot of bar owners making that mistake, getting high in their own supply.
Yeah.
And well, when I was 27, it was my bar. We had 300 bottles on the back bar.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've seen my liquor room downstairs. I have 300 bottles down. I never drink at home, not a single drop. And you have to be strict because it's so easy to just have one.
Yeah.
And with, you're at your own bar and somebody offers you a whiskey and you take a cocktail and a beer and then, all right, it's just 3 drinks, but it's a Tuesday and, that's how it starts. And I know a lot of bar owners and for them it's normal because bartending could also, you can be a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because your shift starts at 8. So you have to show up at work at 7.
Yeah.
And you go on till 3, and then you start drinking till 5, 6 in the morning. But you just have to wake up at 3 again. So
exactly.
Nobody notices it.
Yeah,
and people think it's normal. But a lot of people in the profession could be, according to the DSM, be diagnosed with alcoholism.
Yeah.
It's
the functional part.
The functional part is where they're not alcohol dependent.
Yeah.
And that's the danger if they stop bartending. For them to get back into sort of a normal 9-to-5 job, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because then you're
basically in the rut. And I think that's a slippery slope also with the DSM. It's that functional term.
Yes.
It's who defines that? And it just means, are you able to do the tasks that you have to do to earn a living?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of all it is.
First, of course, the DSM and the whole psychology is norming.
Yeah,
so and norming, what does norming mean? If society doesn't really notice, then you're okay according to the norm.
Yeah.
If society sort of sees it's a bit weird or it's disruptive, then there is a classification. And it makes total sense that it's that way. Yeah. But in this case, you see, there is, of course, a distinction between alcoholic and alcohol dependent. An alcoholic is just a number of so they're alcoholics, but they're not alcohol dependent. Right. Hence, there is no need for them to be, going
for
treatment or anything. But
I mean, if they change their job, they will realize that they might be actually alcohol dependent.
Yes, and now we start seeing sort of the first examples in the cocktail scene, because I'm saying that first, second generation, because it's also when you're 25, 26, it's fun. When you're 30, it's still fun.
Right. Your body can still take it.
Your body can still take it. When you're 35, a little less fun. When you turn 40, like me, almost 40, well, then it starts becoming pathetic.
Yeah.
And then then at 40 and you see that realization with a lot of bartenders, like, all right, in 10 years, I'm 50. I'm not going to do this for another 25 years till I get retired. I gotta.
You can't.
You can't. No, physically you can't.
Physically, you just can't.
And this is also where I was talking about the carrot. And this is also where our industry needs improvement, because there's no educational system yet that sort of gives that possibility for bartenders to at 30 or 35 say, all right, because as a bar manager, you're still in the bar. And then you're going to become a bar owner. It's the same problem. You're in the bar and there's a constant supply of alcohol. So you can work for brands, but then you fly the whole world and you drink everywhere. So there's a lot of things that we still need to work on.